Hey there and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing an update on my March reset. We are at the halfway point and I am really excited to share the things that have been working and haven't, and how I've been able to stay super disciplined on my major reset so I can accomplish more this year. If you're new here, my name is Nicholsen. I love to do all things home cooking, cleaning, decorating, and DIY in our new home. And if you are returning, it is so great to see you. Okay, let's jump into this beautiful day. So starting on March 1st, I changed my morning routine to get up at 5 a.m., which I usually did, but I had a different routine in the morning. So now what I like to do is get up, do coffee. I like to go ahead and check my block schedule, get emails out, do my meditation, and get ready for the day all before the kids get up. I like to get dressed and makeup done, make the bed. That way I have a lot more time as the kids leave at 8 to start my day by getting my vitamins in, my water, my workout, and everything before I head to work each day. Right after the kids leave, I will make my lemon water. I'd like to drink 2 of these a day. Evian is my water of choice. I absolutely love it. You can get cases delivered to you right from Amazon. I just slip a couple of lemons in there and actually use a lemon press to put the juice right in. I just think it's really good and always keeps me highly energized throughout the day. And before I do my workout, I will check in on the emails. Since a lot of the emails that I deal with are international, I find that between the hours of 4 a.m. and 6 a.m., I have a lot of correspondence. So I will respond to those prior to getting my day started. That way, by the time it is 8 o'clock, many of those people have responded. So I understand what I need to get done each day so I can stay highly organized and getting things done quicker and using more hours of my day to accomplish the things I want. Once that's done, I will check my fit tracker. I always like to check this before and after every workout. Depending on if I'm working out at home or in the gym. I have been really enjoying working out outside. If you guys have been on my channel, I've been sharing this with you. It has just been so beautiful out. This particular day, it had rained last night, but it was a beautiful day and it was nice to have all the cats join me for a great workout. If you guys are looking for the workouts that I'm going to be doing today, I will link them in the descriptions down below. They're very much about just toning up the areas of my body that I feel are kind of changing as I'm getting older. I'm 38 years old and just like to do workouts that are best for my body type. So definitely if you guys are looking for that, I will link them down below. And then once I'm done, I will go back into the bathroom and use my Fit Tracker, which is a great app connected to it's kind of like a weighing machine, but it also tells you all of your BMIs, your fat index, your muscle, all of those types of things. So I understand as I'm working out how they are contributing to my overall health. I will link it down below. They have also given us a great discount code. So if you guys want to join me and follow your health, definitely pick one of those up. Once I'm done with my workout, I want to get the house clean and straightened up before I leave for the day. Some days I'm working from home, other days I head out to work. It just kind of depends on what I have on my calendar. This particular day I'm working from my home office, which is nice. So I just want to straighten up the house. I find that for me, my mind is very cluttered when the house is cluttered, but obviously the race to get the kids out the front door every morning leaves behind a little bit of a mess. It's hard enough to keep everybody in a positive mindset, let alone having to nag everyone to clean up. So I don't mind picking up a couple extra things that were left behind during the morning routine that I have with them. If you're new here, we do have 4 children, and this is just kind of the way that I like to pick things up. There's also another kind of mess that happens every day around 3 when the kids get home from school, most of which they typically are responsible for, but I'm not going to leave the house a mess while they're at school because it's just clutters my mind and I don't enjoy it. This particular day, I had to unbox our new chandelier, which I'm excited to share with you guys, but I needed to unbox it to see which parts were broken. So we'll go through that as well. So before we do all that, we're just going to go through the kitchen and get things nice and clean so we can start our day. After I get the kitchen kind of straightened up, this usually takes me about 15 minutes, so not a super long time, I will gather my things to go to whatever I need to do for work or head up to my office where I will work for the remainder of the day until 3 o'clock when I pick the kids up. And I also have been doing intermittent fasting, which I've done for years. I really enjoy it. I find that it gives me a lot more energy, so I like to have a nice big breakfast. I like to have things anywhere from like a detox smoothie, overnight oats, protein bowls, avocado toast, breakfast burritos, tacos, acai bowls. I love doing like a sweet potato hash, all really delicious things, lots of greens and like low on carbohydrates. So I will do that, and then I won't eat for the remainder of the day, and then I'll have a nice big dinner, which I'm going to share with you at the end of this video what we had tonight. But after I picked the kids up, I went ahead and started disassembling the new chandelier that we purchased. I will pop a photo here so you guys can see what it's going to look like. It has since been installed, kind of. A bunch of these were broken, and I'm so grateful to Wayfair. They were awesome and replaced them, but I need to get them cut open and photographed so I can figure out if we had to return it or if they were able to provide us with some new replacement pieces. Okay guys, so we have officially unboxed everything. Safe to say, all of these little pieces are fine. Look how pretty these crystals are. And in here, these are all the crystals, and there's a bunch down here. And then these are the bowls that go in there. They're all fine. Only one of those was broken. And as far as the arms, unfortunately, hi Bruce, so cute. Show regal. So distinguished. These are all the ones that came broken. Luckily, Wayfair is amazing and is going to replace the broken ones. So these are all the ones that we need to get replaced. And then here is, this is like where the actual thing is going to go. So it is 4 feet by 6 feet. And there's our little hole. This is the piece that'll go up there, and then we might have something built around it just to be more ornate. But what we'll do is, this is the actual wire. So now what I'm gonna do is, I'm going to clean all this up because I'm sick and tired of looking at it. It's gonna be another week or two till we can like really build this, because we need to get so much stuff replaced. So what we're gonna do right now is just clean all this up. I think I'm gonna move this stuff over here since we don't really go back there that often. And then we'll clean this room up, and I'll build the other chair that Ferruccio's in, because it's right here and I can't wait. So one of the reasons I decided to change my schedule up is I felt like as I was looking at the outcomes of each month so far in 2023, even though it's only been a short time, I was feeling like my daily activities, while they're extremely organized in my block schedule, were not actively participating in what my overall goals were for the month. So what I ended up doing is taking a look at all my goals and creating space in my life where I could actually add meaningful and measurable things that needed to happen during the day to actually accomplish the goals I had for the year. Many of my goals surround getting our new house totally remodeled. Other goals are very specific to my children and my husband, which I probably won't share on here. And then the other goals I have are very specific to my career. I have since become self-employed, which has been a goal of mine for as long as I can remember. And with that comes a whole different mindset and an entirely different way of looking at outcomes for working. So I wanted to take some time to reassess my schedule and how I block schedule my time for the outcomes for the end of the year to be more successful than I have currently been doing. The other really important reason as to why I wanted to change up my routine is I felt like in the past, and if you've been on my channel, you could probably recognize this as well, I don't take a whole lot of time for myself. I find that anytime I'm not working or doing, just all the things we have to do for, school and just being adults and having responsibilities, I tend to give back to my kids and my family, and I don't typically take time for myself, which is honestly a very hard thing for me. So this new routine, I put myself first, assuming that if I feel stronger and more healthy, I will be able to accomplish more, which we will find out by the end of this month. Really starting to feel at home with the way this room is starting to come together. I think it's safe to say we are not a modern household, and I'm going back to more of a traditional look in our home. So a lot's changing, but now as we move through our schedule, the kids have been picked up, they come home, a lot of them have after school sports and things like that. So once that's all done, I like to get ready for dinner. And I thought tonight I would share a great recipe with you guys. It happens to be one of my favorite recipes. I make it every year for Easter, and it's just a simple way to make a really delicious polenta, and I'm gonna be making a bread crusted lamb. It's super yummy, and I've got a nice protein bowl as well to go with this. To get started, I'm going to roast some vegetables. For the protein bowl, I'm doing a delicious dino kale with some roasted broccoli and some roasted zucchini, as well as some string beans and some avocados. So very healthy, bright green protein bowl. And then I like to separate some of the things I know my children will eat and my children won't eat. So that way I don't have to cook two separate meals. Kind of always done it this way. It seems to work well. That way when the kids come to make their plate, they can pick the things they would like versus me mixing everything together. So I'm gonna get all of that put on this baking sheet, throw that into the oven while we get our rack of lamb started. While our green beans are cooking, I'm going to head out to our rosemary bush and pick out some rosemary because that is the basis of the herbs that I'm going to be using in today's recipe. I'm so excited to be starting our garden this year, you guys. I'm going to be bringing you along with me, but I'm having an entire herb garden built so I can make my own ranch and all the things I love to do. Herbs are expensive, so I'm excited about being able to have my own herb garden so I can use so much more fresh herbs throughout the summer. I also ordered a dehydrator, which will allow me to make my own spices, which I'm really excited to share with you as well. So to get started, I'm going to finely chop up all that gorgeous rosemary and keep that in a dish because it will be going in 2 parts of this recipe. The next thing I want to do is create the glue. We're going to put this on the lamb before we put the breading on. It's just 2 eggs, some Dijon mustard. I'm going to add some garlic in here and a dash of that gorgeous rosemary. Whisk all of that up and set it aside. While that's just resting, I'm going to make the bread. The breading is very easy. I'm going to be using panko, which I tend to like over like a breadcrumbs just because they're a little more coarse and crunchy. I'm going to add some Parmesan cheese to that, mix it up really well, and then I'm going to add in the rest of that rosemary just to incorporate the flavors. You can add some salt and pepper to this, and then we're going to add in some garlic. I use a ready-made garlic only because I find that the acidity from raw garlic sometimes doesn't always go well with the kids. So I've been using this and it seems to be fine, but you can use fresh garlic if you would like to. Once you're done mixing all that up, I'm going to take a cast iron skillet and just sear our lamb. It's important that you use a skillet or something that can actually go in the oven because that's where this little baby's gonna cook. Now that my string beans are done, I'm going to strain them. I always like to add the salt in while that steam is coming up. It will melt that salt and make it incorporate into the string beans really nicely. Go ahead and sear your lamb on all sides, and once that's done, we're going to set it aside, let it cool for about 5 minutes before we start to bread it. In your bread mixture, go ahead and add a little bit of olive oil and slowly start to mix all of that. It's going to be important to add that because it's going to kind of hold it together. And then what we're going to do is actually take a brush, this is like a pastry brush, you can really use anything, and start to paint on our egg wash. I like to call it our glue. We'll want to get this all over our lamb. One of the reasons I like to let the lamb sit for a minute is if it's too hot, it will inadvertently start cooking the eggs a little, so it's important to let that cool down. Once you're done getting the glue on, we're going to spoon on a hefty amount of our breadcrumbs and just really pack that down. You'll notice that it will stay because the oil and the eggs will start to marry together and it will create a nice film of delicious crunchy breadcrumbs all over the top. We'll want to get every single side of this, then we're going to add it back to our cast iron skillet and add it to the oven. While the lamb is cooking, I'm going to start to make our protein power bowls. I'm using a dino kale or a Tuscan kale. It happens to be my favorite. I'm just going to de-stem these because I always find that the stems have a little bit of a bitter quality to them that I don't really find enjoyable. So I'm going to just pull those right off, chop them up and throw them in a bowl. And like I said, since we are a family of 6 and not everybody enjoys the same things, I'm going to prep all of the ingredients individually. That way each of us can come and make the setup for our dinner the way we'd like. And I've got some kale, we've got those string beans, which we're gonna chop up. Happen to be my kids' favorites are usually string beans and broccoli, so I always like to incorporate those. I feel like we eat a lot of broccoli in this house. Just gonna get all of that prepped and set aside. The next thing we're going to do is check on how our lamb's doing. We don't want this to burn or overcook, so I'm just going to pull it out, check the temperature. The very last thing I like to do is turn the heat up so I can get the top nice and crunchy, but we're going to do that. It takes about 5 minutes. While that's heating up, I'm going to make polenta, which is one of my favorite things. If you're not familiar with polenta, it's almost like grits, which the only real difference is polenta is made from yellow corn and grits are made from white corn. I absolutely love making this dish. I will use it to substitute something like rice or mashed potatoes. All I do is just add a couple other ingredients that typically doesn't get called for, but I'll share that with you here in a minute. Now that our lamb is finished, I'm going to just put this on a cutting board. I will cover it with some foil so that we don't lose any heat. And I'm gonna start to make my protein bowl. So for mine, I added some kale. I'm gonna add some avocados and some string beans, broccoli, and zucchini. And I will top that with a nice vinaigrette. One of my favorites is the Gerard's champagne dressing. Happens to be my favorite, but you can make your own as well. And that will be my side. Then we will go over and I will finish our polenta. My favorite way to do polenta is to actually add about 4 tablespoons of butter to this. You'll want to mix the butter in really well, and then we're going to add in about a cup of Parmesan cheese. I like to use either shredded or this is like a grated Parmesan. I'm gonna actually be using both in here because the kids will love it to be extra cheesy. And then so it doesn't get too sticky, we're gonna add a little bit of half and half. I usually just do this by like the eye. If it's just for me, I wouldn't use as much parm, but I mean, who doesn't love a nice creamy and cheesy polenta? You'll want to use a very sharp knife to go ahead and cut up your lamb. To end our routine, I do dinner with the kids and the family. Then from 6:30 to 8:30, it's homework, and sometimes our kids have sports. And then once everyone's in bed, I like to do emails, finish up that block schedule, clean the house up, and then do my personal night routine and skincare, which I'll share in another video. And from 9:15 to 10, I like to do some reading, and then it's bedtime. I wanted to share with you how dinner turned out. I absolutely love this recipe. If you are going to make it, you could also do some roasted carrots with the greens still attached. That's super cute for Easter, but I will link it down below for you guys to enjoy if you are looking for some new recipes. Thank you again for joining me on today's routine, and I cannot wait to continue to share how things are going here. And if you guys would like to subscribe, I would love to have you join my channel, and I will see you in the next video real soon. Bye!